welcome back to Gamers Man Studios. I am Gabe Wolf. I have currently taken over for a friend of mine. You know what? Never mind. I'm pretty sure he'll slap me if I say that. So,
No. I let you do the intro this one time. But anyway.
Only because I beat you to it.
Yes, welcome to the Gamer channel once again. Today we are reviewing the Athearn Genesis 4884 Big Boy. Putting this into frame is almost impossible. The length of this model is 11.5 inches from coupler to snowplow. So this thing is huge. The entire engine is completely die-cast metal, but before we continue talking about the model, let's dive into a brief history about the actual Big Boy. So, the Union Pacific Big Boy was just that. It was the biggest steam locomotive to ever hit American soil. It was built by the Alco Locomotive Company back in 1944, and there were 25 of these machines built. Now, my partner here will tell you exactly how it got the name Big Boy, if he can remember.
It was mainly because of Big Boy. Well, first off, you can already see because of the model, probably one reason why it was called that. Beyond that, it was also like he said, the biggest one unknown to date, so the name kind of came right off. Beyond that, it also represented several challenges to the railroad companies at that time. The double-wheel tracks, for most of the normal railways, had to be modified in order to, I forget that word.
Accommodate?
Accommodate this new steam engine. Even the water towers and water cisterns had to be changed in order to make sure they get efficient.
Now, one thing that most people think about the Big Boys, if they're new to railroading, think, oh, several railroads must have had these locomotives. Not so. The Union Pacific Railroad...
a total of 4 was.
Nope. Union Pacific was the only railroad to ever operate the 4000 class.
Well, I should say 4 cities I know had at least them to operate it.
Yes. The cities were mostly through Cheyenne and Laramie over the Sherman Hill. But they were later moved around the system before, sadly, most of them disappeared. Now, taking a look at this engine, there is a lot of detail that needs to be noticed. First of all, this engine has been beaten a little bit. Hi, you can see my finger now. This engine has been beaten a little bit because I've run this thing quite a bit. It's my biggest model, so my layout being so tight doesn't really like this Big Boy. I would recommend 23-inch curves for this engine. So if you have a very tiny layout like me, running this thing may or may not be an option. Looking at the front of the Big Boy, you can obviously see that some of this piping has gone missing, but there is piping on the other side. This little headlight is completely lit up. You also... Come on, camera. Focus. Focus. Thank you. You can also see that there are proper builder's plates right here. The number boards light up, and then there is a location for the bell. There is no smoke unit in this locomotive, because I can't afford that. But all of this detailing here is absolutely impeccable. Looking at the boiler, you can see all of this separately applied detailing, like this grab iron, the safety valves, and all these amazing details along the boiler here. You can also see the amazing running gear of the locomotive, and this huge firebox here. And if we focus to the cab, you can actually see that all of the number detailing is proper to the actual Big Boy.
It was the first one.
Go ahead, talk. My friend was just bringing up some facts about the Big Boy, then we'll get into talking about the Union Pacific Tender.
Well, the Big Boy, it was the first railroad ever to cross the Continental Divide.
That is correct. The Union Pacific was the first railroad to do so.
Yep, and it was a Big Boy that did it. Beyond that, I brought up something earlier and I forgot about it.
It's okay. You have a book right there to remind you.
You probably shouldn't have said that. Okay, the cost was around $270,000. $100,000.
It was a pretty penny. It was a pretty penny.
Even back then. Even right now. Even in this state, it was a pretty penny.
Now, the book that we were talking about, I'm going to try and show it here in frame here, is the user guide to this Big Boy. And it's got... People are going to be ticked at me for this, but it's got the Genesis name on it. And it shows the name, and it shows
the
wheel arrangement on the engine. So now quickly talking about the tender. Now, most people don't know this, but most of the Union Pacific locomotives had centipede tenders, which means, I'm going to turn on a light here and everyone's going to yell at me for it. Brightness! Which means that all of these axles here that you can see are all connected except for this lead truck. This lead truck is not connected. So basically what that means is that this giant engine has a tender that is a rigid frame. Even though it's an articulated locomotive, it's just a ridge frame. So right now, we're going to go and we're going to fire this engine up and we're going to show you what it's like running around the lake. Alright, so we got power to the track now, and we are going to start firing the engine up. Here we go.
So so watch out for the flamethrowers, alright people?
Alright, so the first thing we're going to check out for the sound effects on this engine is the whistle, my personal favorite. Now let's listen to the bell. Now sadly this locomotive doesn't come with any crew talk, so now we're going to go ahead and roll it out. Behind the big boy, I know it's not prototypical, but I have a bunch of mixed-matched passenger cars. I do have one Union Pacific baggage car, and because we're running this as an excursion engine, if you've seen in my previous review, you will notice that I have the auxiliary water tender on the back of the big boy. So let's roll this sucker out. So that was the official review of the 4006 Union Pacific Big Boy. If you have seen on my IRL channel, I will link in the description the first video that this engine ever debuted on. And I will also link in the description the video to the auxiliary water tenders. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want more from this channel, like these train reviews, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, become part of the gamer team, go check out the Patreon, fund my channel, fund these locomotives, fund the amazing events that we do, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye!